Okay, so I was not sure if I wanted to make videos of My Hero Academia chapters, but I needed to, because what's been happening in chapter 272 and even before that with the war arc, it's too crazy not to talk about. I just needed to talk about this and get out my feelings and what I had to say. So let's just jump right into the events of the chapter, right? Shigaraki's finally awake. And in a couple chapters ago, when we saw him like convulsing on the ground and having like the visions and shit, I was like, yo, I'm calling it right now. Excess is gonna die. A bunch of heroes are gonna die. Like, shit's about to go down. And I couldn't have been more right, because Shigaraki awakens and he lets loose. Like, his decay quirk is consuming everything. He destroys like the entire hospital. He starts to destroy a bunch of the city, which was like a couple miles away, I'm pretty sure. Or at least it was very far away. I don't know if it was a couple miles. And more importantly, he kills a ton of heroes. Most notably probably being crushed after saving Aizawa. And that's actually insane, because deaths in My Hero are not something that happen that often. Night Eye was a big death that happened. Although I guess, to be fair, there haven't really been deaths so far with Shigaraki that have been of heroes that we like know and love. It's just been like a bunch of extra heroes, but still, deaths are deaths, right? Like, it's honestly crazy to think that we went from like twice as very impactful death to fearing that Mirio might not Mirio to Mirko might die, to having like dozens upon dozens of heroes getting murked by Shigaraki, right? It's actually insane. His power level is crazy. How can you even fight back against that? That's what I want to know. And we also see in this chapter Deku getting like little messages from the first user, One For All. And he was talking about stuff like the blowback is going to happen, so he can't talk much soon, which I'm guessing is like a limit to how long they can speak to Deku based on Deku's current ability and like accessibility of One For All, like how much he can currently use of it. So that's what I'm assuming. But it's very interesting to see that, because we're seeing more and more layers of One For All as we progress. Like, these are actually seeming like people with their own like thoughts within Deku and within the quirk, right? And he was talking some weird stuff like a transcendent one is coming, like he can access like an insane amount of power because he's transcended humanity. Fight now or something like that, which if they think Deku can fight that shit, they're crazy, bro. But it's just really interesting to see more layers. And another thing is, at the very end of the chapter, we saw Deku use 45%, which I've seen people thinking are his new limit, which I don't think so at all. I do not believe for 1 second that 45% is his new full cowl constant. I think it's just more that he can handle. I'm sure he can handle more full cowl percentage, but not 45%. That's way too much. That's too much of a jump, in my opinion. I don't think he's been. I could be wrong. I haven't read the chapters preceding what we're at now in a while. So I could be wrong, but I don't think 45% is his new constant. I think it's just something that he can handle more with burst. Although I'm not sure what was his constant before this. Like, what? I don't know, because honestly, the last boost I remember is 8% when he fought Bakugo, but I'm 100% positive it increased after that. And I'm kind of remembering him using like 30% when he fought Gentle Criminal, although I could be misremembering. But regardless, 45% just seems like a big jump for Deku. But even if I won't talk about that now. I was gonna say I'm probably gonna get into this more in a future video that I make, but I think the way that Deku uses full cowl isn't fully utilizing the strength aspect of One For All. So even if he is at 45%, I don't really think it's like 45% of what All Might could have done. You know what I mean? So getting back to Shigaraki, like, his power level is insane. I honestly don't know how the heroes are going to fight back against him, right? Because his decay is OP. He was just killing people. He was just straight up killing people without touching them. Like, what? The only way that I can imagine the heroes fighting against him is like fighting him in the air, because he can't use his decay quirk if his decay has nothing to pass through, right? He would have to touch them. But as we found out like a chapter or two ago, Shigaraki has All for One now. So anything's possible. Like, I don't know if he just got the base quirk All for One that lets him take other quirks, or if he got some other quirks along with it. Does he even know he has All for One? Like, shit is crazy. Like, I don't know what's going on. And we saw all of Class 1A there. So there's something, they're going to get involved with something. But I don't really know what, because Shigaraki is the only one there. Because he killed all the gnomes, most likely. So it's just a couple of more pro heroes, and then Class 1A evacuating the citizens. But I don't really know what's going to happen with that, because Shigaraki is too OP, right? But he also just woke up, so he might not be able to be like in fighting mode for long. And he's the only one there. So, but we also saw that Giganto Machia or whatever, how the hell you say that, stood up at one of the previous chapters and like, yo, Master sent. That could be referring to Shigaraki, right? So he might go to Shigaraki, or he might just fight at that, like at the location he's in. But I'm honestly wondering if he actually meant All for One, right? Because we saw him smiling at the end of one of the previous chapters, and there's no way All for One is not out of this manga. He is not down for the count. I do not believe that for a second. I totally believe that he's going to break out of Tartarus, whether there's like a prison break arc or whether he does it himself. Something is 100% going to happen with All for One. Whether it happens in this war arc, I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if Giganto Machia considers Shigaraki his new master, or if he just like respects him and uses him as like a stopgap before he serves All for One again. So I'm honestly curious if he was referring to Shigaraki when he said Master Sent, or if he was referring to All for One. There's a lot of shit that's going on with that. What else? So the mad scientist, they were talking about the quirk singulation theory a couple chapters ago, where it's like the quirk progresses so much that your body can't really handle that anymore. So I'm assuming what happened with Shigaraki is that that scientist used what he knows to enhance Shigaraki's body to be able to handle the output of his quirk that he's handling. And something that I just thought of is that I wonder if One for All is doing the same for Deku, because the amount of power that One for All gives to its user, like just look at All Might. Like no other quirk can produce that level of power. So I'm honestly thinking that One for All also is adapting their bodies in the same way, if that makes sense. And also the ability to use multiple quirks, I think also could be a sign that maybe Deku is also transcending humanity in a way, right? Which is very interesting, because the first One for All user was like, oh, the transcendent one, he surpassed humanity. But what would they really know about that, right? I'm assuming they would really only know about that if they had something to do with that themselves. So I think One for All might have an aspect like that as well. And then just jumping back to Shigaraki again, like his insane power level. So My Hero Academia is nowhere near completion, right? But I honestly just don't know how to deal with him, because the power that he's gotten to is just that he's like a threat that surpasses what All for One was when he appeared, right? And that was an insane battle with All Might. But Shigaraki, I think, as he is now, is beyond that weakened All for One. Like he's insane. And just as they did with All for One, something has to be done to put down Shigaraki. Because if this manga is going to continue, right, even if all of the other villains are captured, and it's just Shigaraki by himself is like a world-ending threat, right? Maybe, like, that's not to say he's gonna like touch the world and consume it, right? But it's like he's very, very hard to deal with. He's very insane, powerful, like, And we haven't even seen the limits of what he can do, basically. Because if he has All For One, then that decay quirk is just one aspect. And since his body is like enhanced now, All For One is going to be even crazier inside of him. I just don't understand how that level of power can be left alone if we're going to be able to continue like the regular school life arcs or the more minor villain arcs. Like, Shigaraki has to be dealt with, whether he's killed, whether he's captured, whether he's taken over by All For One Kaguya style. Like, something has to happen with him, but I do not know how it's going to happen because he is just too strong as he is right now, if that makes sense. It's just crazy. And the whole war arc, I compare it to Paramount War. Like, there's just so much going on, and I honestly wonder if this arc, like, I just don't know. Like, this arc is probably going to go on. I can see it going two ways. It's probably going to go very short. It's going to be very short, or it's going to be very, very long. I'm not sure which, though. I prefer long. But yeah, that's all I have for this one. So what do you guys think about Shigaraki getting this insane power boost and just killing everybody? Like, how do you think the heroes are going to handle this? If they even can handle it. I'm curious to see what you guys are going to say. Because I can't even fathom how they would consider taking down Shigaraki as he is now. I think the best thing that they can do is just run. But I mean, they're pro heroes. They're not going to settle for that. If there's a threat that big, they're going to throw everything they can at him to take him down before he can do more damage. So I'm just curious to see what you guys have to think on that end. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please like this video if you had anything that I had to say, and consider subscribing if you would like to see my content in the future. I'm probably going to cover more weekly My Hero chapters because what's been going on is just absolutely insane. It's insanity. This war arc is crazy. Like I said, Paramount War, basically. It's just, oh my, you bet I'm covering this shit. But yeah, so thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.